and welcome back. So in the previous class we solved the theory part, and to this class we will discuss which are the ledger accounts we are going to prepare in the books of consignor and consignee, and the format as well as the practical problems on consignment. Okay, so first, that is accounts maintained by consignor. So the consignor is going to maintain four main ledger accounts, that is consignment account, consignees account, abnormal loss account, goods and on consignment account. The consignee is going to maintain only two ledger accounts, that is one consignor account because consignor is the supplier of the goods, and the commission account because he is going to receive the commission. So the consignor maintains four main ledger accounts and the consignee is going to maintain two ledger accounts. So in this class you take down the format, okay, you just take down the format here. So take down this format. So I give 3 minutes to copy down this format. So take down fast. So later I will explain this format. So in the books of consignor, the first thing, that is consignment account. Okay, so consignment, you have to start with the consignment stock account. So first you have to start with the consignment stock account. If there is any opening balance, means if it's the first time consignment, then the opening balance will be not there in that problem, right? If it's a regular thing, means you are doing this consignment business from many years, then there will be opening balance. Okay, so two consignment stock opening balance. Next, you have to write buy stock reserve. Okay. Now, what is stock reserve? See here, it is load. What is load? So load is nothing but the profit. Load is nothing but the profit. For example, the cost of 1 unit of goods is 200. Okay, we'll take example of 2000. So per unit 2000, it was consigned for rupees 3000, means it is sold at rupees consigned at rupees 3000. It is not the selling price, it is the consigned price. And right, from consigner to consignee, it is transferred at the invoice price of 3000. The difference what you get, that is load price. So the difference between cost and the invoice price is load price. Why we term it as a load? Because that is not a profit. Though you consigned at the higher rate, it is not the profit because you are not selling the goods to consignee. You are not selling the goods, so it is termed as load price. If you sell the goods, then you can term it as profit. But you are not selling, you are just processing or you are dispatching the goods from consigner to consignee, so it is load price. It is nothing but the cost plus the extra what to add on that, that is what load price. Okay. Okay, so if there is any load price in opening stock, then you have to write on the credit side, you have to write on the opposite side. Okay, so for the cost value incur, the opposite side you have to write the load price. So the load price is always transferred to stock reserve. So first, if there is opening stock, you have to write to consignment stock, then buy stock reserve. If there is no load price, then this entry will not come. Okay, load price ಇದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ stock reserve ಬರಬೇಕು, ಇಲ್ಲದ್ರೆ ಬರ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ. The next entry, that is goods sent on consignment account, means the consigner sends some goods to the consignee, that you need to record. These are all expenses. Okay, so these are all, you can treat it as an income or the item that should be borne by the consigner. So you will send the goods to the consignee. So two goods sent on consignment. If there is any load price, then that should be written on the credit side by your right buy goods sent on consignment, because you need to cancel that load price. On opening it is stock reserve, closing it is stock reserve, but the other things, that is the same entry but opposite side. So two goods sent on consignment, buy goods sent on consignment. This entry only when there is a load price, only when there is a load price, otherwise no need of recording that entry. Okay, next, third one. If any expenses incurred by consigner, then you have to write to bank, because we are preparing consigners in the books of consigner. You have to write to bank. Consigner book ಅಲ್ಲಿ consigner ಅಂತ ಬರಲಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ. So okay, in consigner's book you cannot write consigner's name, so it is to bank. If the expenses incurred by consignee, if any expenses incurred by consignee, then you have to write his name, because the consigner is liable to pay this money. The consigner is liable to pay this money. The consignee's expenses have to be paid by the consigner. So to consignee. Then if there is any commission, again the consigner is liable to pay consignee. So to consignee. So expenses and commission, consignee's name. Okay. So you have sent to goods. If the goods has been returned, so sent to goods debit side. If you return, then it is credit side. Okay. If you return any goods, then it is a credit side, goods sent on consignment. Now, if there is any load price, then debit side, two goods sent on consignment. So this is the load price for this. So this is the load price on the goods sent. Okay. On the opposite side, you have to write there is a closing stock, then there should be a, if there is a load price, then there should be a stock reserve. If there is an opening entry, then there should be a stock reserve. Okay, this way the entry should be passed. So next one, that is the sale. So the consignor has sent some goods. You need to sell the goods to the ultimate buyer. So the entry will be the who has to do the sale, consignee. So you write consignee's account. By consignee's account, sale made by the consignor. If there is abnormal loss, then credit. Why it is credit? Because the abnormal loss is the loss incurred because of the negligency. Because of negligency, so the consignor has to bear the loss. So we write on the credit side by abnormal loss. So you may have the question that all the losses expenses should be on the debit side. Why the abnormal loss is written on the credit side? Because that is because of negligency. The other expenses that is incurred for the work or the loss that is due to the value of the goods. Okay, it is not negligence. Because of negligence or deliberately you're not doing that expenses or the loss, but abnormal loss, that is because of negligence. You could have controlled these expenses, these amounts you could have controlled, but it is not controlled, so you have to bear the loss. So on the credit side. And one more explanation, because on abnormal loss the work is done, some work will be done on the abnormal loss, so it is credited. Okay, after this you have to write the closing stock. If there is any closing stock, then you have to write that. Closing stock means you have to value the closing stock. Okay, you have to value the closing stock. There is a format for valuation of consignment stock, that is closing stock. On that, if there is any reserve, then you have to write on the credit side. So difference is transferred to general P&L account, general profit and loss account. So any side, either it is to P&L or by P&L. Okay, so next you take on the next accounts, that is consignees account, abnormal loss account, goods sent on consignment. Okay, take down fast, just 3 minutes, take down it fast. Okay, so next ledger account, that is consignees account. So in consignees account, first you have to, so it is very simple. First you have to transfer the balance from consigner. So now you see the, sorry, consignment. You see the consignment account on the credit, on the debit side, you written as a two consignees account twice, right? So in the consignment account, it is two consignees account, correct? In the consignees account, it is two consignment by consignment by consignment. First one, that is expenses, second one, that is commission. Okay, this you transfer from the consignment account. First thing you have to transfer from consignment account. Credit side you have by consignee, so in consign it is two consignment. This is sales. Okay, first thing you have to transfer the sales balance from consignment, then you have to record the expenses and commission, then the bills drawn. Why bill drawn? Because the consignee will receive the cash from the buyer for consignment process. He need to give that amount to the consignor, correct? Now listen, there are debtors as well as the cash. One is debtor, another one is cash sale. So cash sale is received by the consignee, right? He is going to do the sale. The consignee will sell the goods on behalf of consignor. Now when you sell the goods, the consignee will going to receive the money. Now what we have to do? The consignee has to return the money back to the consignor. So what is the journal entry? Cash account debit to consignee. Why consignee? Because now the money is with consignee. So we need to return the money. So what is the journal entry? The journal entry will be cash account debit to consignee, because consignee, see, when the sale is done by consignee, the consignee will receive the money. So you have to send that money back to the consignor. So what is the journal entry? Cash account debit to consignee. So in consignee account, it is by cash or bank. Why bills receivable? Because there are debtors. Sometimes we do the credit sale, so there will be a debtor when you draw the bill by receivable. So the so other two entry will be by bills receivable by bank. Now abnormal loss. So abnormal loss again, that you transfer from the consignment account. See, consignment account credit side, you have written by abnormal loss. So there it is by abnormal loss. So in abnormal loss it is to consignment, and the difference. See, when there is a loss, what you can do? For example, you have one furniture, the furniture, there is a damage in the furniture. I think we'll take example, the side of the outer portion has been something cut off, or the legs were, there is some problem in the leg. Now what you can do, you can sell it, right? When there is a abnormal loss, you can sell that abnormal loss. So when you sell, you will receive the money. So what is the journal entry? Bank account debit to abnormal loss. So bank to this money, that is for realization of expense, sorry, realization of loss. There is a loss, you sell it, that is scrap. You can call it as scrap also. Okay, if you sell it, or the money what you receive, that is scrap. The remaining loss is transferred to P&L account. For example, you incurred 1000 loss. By selling you received 800. By selling you received 800. So remaining will go to the P&L account. Okay, so that is abnormal loss. Next, goods sent on consignment, that is very easy. Everything you have to first you have to transfer the balance from the consignment account. See, debit side, there is the buy goods sent on, two goods sent on consignment, right? So in consignment account, it is two goods sent on consignment. In goods and in consignment, goods sent on consignment, it is by consignment. So if there is a load price, then you write it as two buy goods sent on consignment. In goods sent on consignment, it is two goods sent on consignment. It is nothing but you transfer the balance from the consignment account. You see your consignment account, there are four goods sent on consignment entry. Two on the credit side, two on the debit side. That you need to record. Opposite side. In consignment, if you debited goods sent on consignment, in goods sent on consignment, you have to credit consignment, and the vice versa. The difference will go to the trading, not P&L account, because this is relating to goods. This is relating to goods, so it should go to trading account. So it's very easy. Okay, you just remember the consignment account. So other thing you can just transfer in the balance, except these two you have to see the problem. One bills draw, it is also known as advance payment. You can write by bank, and the by bank, that is a final settlement, that is a difference or the balance. And the abnormal loss as well as goods sent, it is nothing but it is a transfer from the consignment account. So this is in the books of consigner. Next we'll move on to the next ledger account. So you take down this format in the books of consignee, the consigner as well as commission. So take down fast. Okay, so this is the format of consignees in the books of consignee, that is consigner and commission account. So in consigner, you need to debit credit two items, that is bank and debtor, that is the sale entry. Okay, the sale done by the consignee, that you are going to receive the money, and the debit side you have to record all the expenses like bank and cash, that is advance. If you have received any advance payment, then you have to deduct that balance. So for example, when I propose the units, okay, when I want to buy some units, sometimes the person may pay in advance, right? So that advance, that what payment is done by consignee, sorry, the buyer to the consignee. The consignee usually will send it to the consigner, right? Consignee is just a agent. He is receiving the money and he is giving the money, so he's just an agent. So from buyer, consignee has received the advance payment that has been paid to the consigner. So that much amount should be deducted because, for example, the total worth rupees 10 lakh goods were sold, out of which 2000 was the received in advance. So now he is liable just 8 lakh. Correct. Sorry, 2 lakh is already received, so he's liable only 8 lakh. So 8 lakh, after selling the goods, he is liable to pay. 2 lakh you already sent, so that 2 lakh what advance is sent, that should be deducted from the total money. So it is 2 lakh. So 2 bills payable means if we already drawn the bill on debtor, the debtor has paid some money, so that should be deducted. So it is bills payable. okay, because it is already paid. Then there are if there is any expenses, then to cash account. Why to cash? Because the consignor has to pay the money to the consignee. Next one is commission, because we are not writing to cash as a for the commission, because the commission should be transferred to the its own ledger account, where there is an adjustment on that. If there is an adjustment like bad debts, if there is any del credit or commission, then bad debt should be adjusted. So directly you are not going to pay the money. You have to transfer to the commission account. So you write to commission. Then the difference is the final payment. So you just observe the consignee's account. You just see the consignee's account. It is almost same entry, but it is opposite side. What you write on the debit side, it is written on the credit side. What you write on the credit side, it is written on the debit side. So it is almost opposite, right? So all the entries are similar, but the two or three entries are different, right? Like commission, their consignment, bank consignment. So that way you have written that. The next to last one, that is commission account, where first you have to write by consignor, because commission you see in the consignor account you have written to commission. So in commission account it is by consignor. If the del credit commission is paid, then you have to adjust the bad debts from there, right? If it is a del credit commission, then you have to adjust the bad debt. So it is on the two sides. The difference will be transferred to the P&L account, either by P&L account or to P&L account. Okay, this is about the format. Next we'll go for the valuation of closing stock. See, now closing stock can be valued in two ways. First one, when there is a normal loss, and second one, when there is no normal loss. Okay, so first we'll see when there is a normal loss. So you take down this valuation of closing stock when there is a normal loss. So take down first valuation of closing stock when there is a normal loss. That is very important. Only when there is a normal loss, you have to follow this format. So for three columns, that is particulars, units, and amount. First, you have to start with the cost of goods consigned. That is the total cost of goods consigned. So you have to write the figures in the units as well as amount column. That it is number of units as well as total cost. Then you have to add the total non-recurring expenses of consignor. Please note it is non-recurring, not recurring. Why we add non-recurring? Because the non-recurring expenses will increase the value of the goods. The recurring expenses will not increase the value of the goods. When I was explaining the theory, I stressed this point many times. I just repeated this point because you have to take only non-recurring expenses. Why? Because it will increase the value of the goods. So both, it is consignor as well as consignee. So you will get the total. From that you have to deduct your abnormal loss. So first you have to calculate the abnormal loss. Okay, the format will be dictated next in the next slide. So you just copied on this. Then in the next slide there is an abnormal loss and the valuation of closing stock when there is no normal loss. Okay. First, you have to always calculate the abnormal loss. Then you have to take that figure in the closing stock valuation. So abnormal loss. Next, you have to deduct the normal loss. Listen, normal loss only units. There is no value of normal loss. Okay. So we are not finding the value of the normal loss, only units. Then you have to deduct units sold. So the value what you get, that is the effective number of units available for sale. So I'll explain. Listen. See, the consignor has consigned X units of units. In that there was abnormal loss, in there is a normal loss. If you deduct this, the loss, the units what you get, that is the effective unit. Means that much unit you can sell. For example, the consignor has sent you 1000 units. In that 200 units has been abnormal loss, 350 normal loss. So 350 is the normal loss. Okay. Now what is left? Only 450. So this much units is available for sale. Correct. Now you have sold 200 units. With this you have sold 200 units. So you just left with 250. Means this is the closing value. That is what's the format. The format which is given there, the same format. See, you have deducted abnormal loss and normal loss. You get B. What is B now? means the number of units available for sale. So this is the units that is there in still in hand. From that, if you deduct the sold units, this is the closing units, means that is unsold units. And for unsold units, there is we have to calculate the amount. Okay, so when you take the units sold, you have to take only the units, no amount column. Here again no amount column, amount, because we have to calculate the amount. Okay, so next you write the formula. The value of closing stock is equals to net cost available, net cost of goods sent, that is this figure. This figure you have to take a, you write a into unsold units, means the closing stock value, C, divided by effective units available for sale, that is B, before deducting units sold. Okay, this is the valuation of closing stock format when there is a normal loss. Next you write valuation of closing stock when there is no normal loss. When there is no normal loss, you have to take the proportion, because if there is no normal loss, what you produced that can be sold, right? So the format is invoice price. Okay, it is invoice price of unsold units. Then you have to add proportionate means how much units is unsold, that units proportionate you have to find. The proportionate calculation that I will explain when I am going to solve the problem. Okay, problem solve ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಇದರ proportionate ಹೇಗೆ find ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿಕೊಡ್ತೇನೆ ನಾನು. Now you are taking only unsold units, not total units, so it is proportionate. If you're taking total units, you see the for last format, there you took the cost of goods consigned, right, means the total units. So that time total record, not recurring. Here you are taking only unsold, means proportion. And unsold units ಎಷ್ಟು incur ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ಮಾತ್ರ. And this is very important. If goods lost or damaged after reaching the sorry, you don't write this. Okay, this is irrelevant information. Irrelevant information for the calculation of closing stock. So don't write that. You just write these three things, that is invoice price of unsold units, add proportionate non-recurring expense of consignor, add proportionate non-recurring expense of consignor. So don't write this. If goods lost or damaged after reaching the godown, it is for next format. Okay, next we will move to the next format, that is computation of abnormal loss. So same format, you just see that the previous format what you follow, same format, but instead of invoice you have to write cost of goods lost. You have to write lost, they're unsold, you're lost. Then proportionate consignee you have to take only when the goods lost or damaged after reaching godown. If the abnormal loss incurred after reaching the godown, then only you have to take the non-recurring expense of consignee. Okay, before that, then you have to know this concern is not liable to pay the expenses, right? For example, if the goods are in transit, so it is with the hands of the consignor only. Consignor yet to receive the goods, consignor innu receive madlilla, sorry, consignee. So it is still in transit, it is moving. So at that time only consignor's non-recurring expense. If this expenses incurred after reaching consignee, then both, okay, after reaching consignee, then both expenses you have to take. The expense, both parties expense you have to take. That is non-recurring expense of consignor and non-recurring expense of consignee. So these are the formats you should know. Okay, so today we'll solve just one problem on consignment, very simple problem. So tomorrow class onwards you should be thorough with the formats. Okay, you just take down this problem, the small problem. You have to calculate unsold stock of consignment, that is closing stock. So take down fast. Calculate the value of unsold stock on consignment. Calculate the value of unsold stock on consignment. Goods sent on consignment 1500 kg, rupees 2,50,000. Consignor's expenses 50,000. Consignee's non-recurring expenses rupees 40,000. Sale made by consignee 1,200 kg. Loss due to normal wastage, that is normal loss, natural wastage. So that is a normal loss, natural. So it is not in your hand, it will happen. Natural, so it is normal loss. So you have to calculate the value of unsold stock, that is nothing but closing stock. So we have two format. One is when there is a normal loss, when there is no normal loss. Here there is a normal loss, that is the last one. This is the normal loss because that is a natural wastage. Okay, this is not in your hands. It will happen. Whatever the precautions you take, the loss will happen. So that is why it is called normal loss. Okay, when there is a normal loss, you have to follow the first format. So first you write the solution, that is calculation of value of goods unsold. If you want, you can draw the format first in the first itself. Then you can just fill out the numbers. ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಯಾಟ್ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ಗೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಇಡ್ಬೋದು, ನಂತರ ನೀವು ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಫಿಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ. So draw the format, or systematically one by one you can write, you can fill them out and you can find the answer. Okay, so first thing you have to take the cost of goods sold. So 1500 kg has been consigned at the cost of 2,50,000. So cost of goods sold, sorry, it is cost of goods consigned. Okay, it is cost of goods consigned. So next, that is total non-recurring expense of consignor. So expenses incurred by consignor is always the non-recurring expenses. All the expenses of consignor is treated as non-recurring expenses. When I was doing the theory part, I stressed this point many times, right? All the expenses incurred by consignor is non-recurring expenses. Okay, so consignee, there is a chances of recurring as well as non-recurring, but in this problem they directly given the recurring expense, non-recurring. So now you have to do the total. So units column, it is only 1,500. That amount column 2,50,000 plus 50 plus 40, it comes to 3,40,000. So there is no abnormal loss, so write nil. So it comes to 1,500, 3,40,000. There is a normal loss. So normal loss, you have to write only the units. So 100, it comes to 1,400, 3,40,000, and they have given the units sold 1,200. So 200 is the units left. So then you substitute the values to the formula. Listen, if you forget the formula, you have one more trick to find the answer. It is very simple. See, here it is 1,400, that is effective units. The cost is 3,40,000 and the number of units left 200. You can do the cross multiplication. You want what is the cost of 200 units, right? You can do the cross multiplication. If you forget the formula, you just do the cross multiplication, that is 200 into 3,40,000 divided by 1,400. If you substitute, you will get the same equation. See, 3,40,000 into 200, this is the value. 1,400 into question mark means you have to divide by 1,400. That is 1,400 is the effective units available for sale, 1,400. 200 is the unit unsold, and 3,40,000 is the number net cost of goods sent. If you solve, you will get the answer. That is the value of closing stock or unsold units. So you can do the cross multiplication. Understood? So this is illustration number 1. So in the next class we'll continue the next illustration. So when you attend the next online class, you please be thorough with the format as well as the calculation format pattern. Okay, the value calculation, that is a note calculation of closing stock when there is abnormal loss, sorry, when there is a normal loss, and when there is no normal loss, calculation of abnormal loss. Then you have to be thorough with the formats. Okay, so we'll see in the next class. Bye.